G'day everyone, I'm Dave. Thanks for joining me. Well, after my last video, I had a lot of interest of people understanding finally how you can inject AI into your workflow and use the intelligence that you can buy. Also, another huge thing that's happened, and this is why I'm running a bit late filming this video, is with the release of ChatGPT 5, wow folks, I tell you, life is getting a lot more interesting and going ahead at 1,000,000 miles an hour. Just to give you an example, so in today's video, I'll show you, I'm not going to focus a lot on GPT-5. I will show you one way that it has improved massively just in my day-to-day use, literally overnight. And also, I've had huge demand of people asking me, okay, show me some more of how this workflow works. Show me some more of how this stuff goes. The other thing that's really interesting is there's a lot of talk about, obviously AI is going to take jobs, that is going to happen, but it's really interesting to see how things are changing and what new jobs will be created, like all technologies. And I think I've actually found a new job for people, the clicker, the clicker. So this is just my opinion. If you are highly skilled at a specific task, that is a very valued thing, the master and the apprentice. The problem is now the world is flipped on its head. The master is no longer going to be the master because we're going to have a universal AI that will know as much as any great master will know, more than any great master will know. But it's the apprentices, you and me, the people that sit below the master that can learn so much. So I really believe the productivity, which is the word we're talking about, if you understand how to use the intelligence of your master, like the apprentice, you can increase your workflow. You can 10x your workflow, no problem. And this is what I want to try, and this is what people have asked me. This is what I want to try and show you in today's video. So I'll start off with doing just a quick example of how ChatGPT has changed. Those of you who do coding and vibe coding, there's a whole stack of different ways you can code. You can use Claude, you can use different coding programs, Bolt, there's a whole stack, Windsurf. But I personally prefer to work collaborative with my, I can't even say that. I personally prefer to collaborate with my AI assistant, and that way, because I'm used to working that way. And so the good thing about that is AI becomes your collaborator. So you can code, update. Now, one of the big problems with the previous version of GPT is, let's say you weren't on the $200 a month plan, and I proved last month it's actually better to have a couple of different LLMs. That actually works out economical, but also very powerful for your workflow. But with the previous version of ChatGPT, the most you could pick, the highest, the smartest model was O3. Now, the problem is if you're on the $20 plan and you're doing big code bases, there's two things that have really improved. Number one is this context window, the ability to drop in a large file and get the AI to look at the context of the large file so it understands. What most vibe coders have found, or people that are coding, or I use it a lot for, I code, I've got the idea, I use it for debugging, I use it for using all the complicated stuff that I don't know. But basically, what you can do now with GPT-5 is you can upload a larger file. And so we'll go down now and we'll have a look at ChatGPT-5 and some of the coding stuff that I do. So down here, I've just opened up ChatGPT, just the blank screen. We'll notice, you see now you've only got one model to choose from, ChatGPT-5. Before you had all the different models. People that used LLMs a lot like myself would flick between different models, but let's say O3 was the one you'd use until you ran out of credit and then you went to 4.0. But basically now you've got ChatGPT-5. The thing that's really cool is, right, if you're working on some coding, let's say I use Repeatable a lot, basically you can see the more and more code, the more complicated the code gets. When you were using GPT before, after a long chat about trying to find stuff, or even if you set up a project, it would lose the context of what you were doing. So what I find now is if I just download the zip file, right, which I've just done, and I go to ChatGPT, I can upload the zip file, right? So if I find the zip file, I can upload the zip file to ChatGPT, and then you watch this. Hey ChatGPT, I'm doing a new project. I've just uploaded the zip file that's got the structure of the entire code base. Can you use this as a base for your knowledge? As you make changes, you will have understanding. Please acknowledge you understand this. And then basically we just click tick. That's that done. what it'll do then, instead of having to type it in, which is what I used to do all the time, the transcript's fantastic. I upload that. It will then look at the code base. Great, got it, excellent. From here we can work and away we go. That means when I start asking code-based questions, it literally, right, knows the context. That has made the coding so much faster and so more reliable because you tend to get it to write the code, right? And then what you do is you upload the code to here. You cut and paste the code. But that was always an issue. So anyone who's done vibe coding or has used ChatGPT, that's the first thing they'll notice. Okay, so carrying on, back up here, from my last talk where I talked about all the different tools that I create. Lots of people said, okay, that's fine, but how do you drag the whole thing together so it works? So that's what I want to do now, and this is pretty cool stuff, right? As you know, I'm a very practical guy. The whole way of doing this is you still need to get, no matter how good your product is, no matter how beautiful your resort is or how great your monument is, unless people come and see it, they don't know about it, they're not going to come and visit you, right? So the one thing that AI won't change, even though we've actually now will be doing things completely differently, owning the conversation, of course, to be able to get your interest, you still need clients and you still need customers. Now, you can automate a lot of that, but the job of the clicker, and I really shouldn't call them a clicker, the job of a person to monitor, let the AI do all the heavy lifting, do the things that it can do the best. Let the human do the things it can do the best, and between you, you work together to get an end project. So hopefully I will try and illustrate that right now. So the good old standby here, because I've got control over it, is Sutherland Sally. So we know, we've talked about Sutherland Sally before. She's an AI assistant for the Shire. And anyone who's been watching the channel will see that I've upgraded bit by bit. I started off with just plain text for the output, for examples, and then we've gone to images, we've gone to maps. We've really made it into a very, very good site. But more importantly, it's ready for LLMs because we've actually got the H1, H2 tags, all the questions, all the answers, everything there ready to go. But this is where it gets really, really interesting, right? So we'll go to the home page here. Now, one of the tools I created is specifically for marketing. And this is unlike most other marketing tools around. And I'll tell you why. I've designed it a couple of different ways. The first one here's an example. Let's say you've got a staff member and they're just beginning their path to learning about AI. Going back up here, just on that topic, last week I raised the idea that I'll hire you because you have AI skills and you don't. And your AI skills can bring coding, different tools and apps. Your AI knowledge will increase my workflow, therefore you've got the job. What will be interesting is most bosses and most people don't understand what skills you need to have AI work for you because it's such a new field. So there will be work in the future. Here's another job that's been created. People that can test and analyze new workers and tick them off for their skills or give a comment on the skills that they've got on AI and refer that to the boss. And the boss knows nothing about AI, right? So it's not a position that should be held lightly. It's a very important position, but you can see where this is going. Okay, so back down here. All right, I'm back down here now. Now, marketing, right? Again, if you haven't got eyeballs on your business, no one knows about you, no one is going to spend money with you, and you're not going to make money. So here is a really cool marketing tool that I made. Let's follow the workflow. So it's in the Sutherland Shire. Just as a matter of interest, I went to Google Maps, cosmetic clinics that they told me would be interested in being on a directory site. I typed in cosmetic clinics and I selected a cosmetic clinic. The reason I went to Google Maps is that most businesses on Google Maps will have a website. So the first piece of information we want is literally the website address. So we can go here and we can grab the website address and we can go back into here and we put that in there. All right, we just paste the website address in. Then the business name, which again, we can get from the website. The business name, Contour Clinics Miranda. So I'll just copy that there, copy that, and we'll go back and we'll paste that into here. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Facebook, Google, all these online sites have created their own world. This, in effect, is creating your own world, and I'll show you what I mean. If you then go to Sally, and then you ask a question about this business. Okay, how good are the Contour Clinics Miranda at, let's say, beauty, and I'm spelling it wrong, treatments. Right, now I've deliberately done that wrong. Now watch this. This is about automation and AI. So I send that message, the AI looks at that message. The message itself, the transcripts, gets directly sent to the owner of the site. Also, instead of going in and publishing what was said with the spelling typos, or things could be, misguided, rude, whatever, what the AI does is it reads this message, it formulates the answers. There we go. Contour Clinics in Miranda is well registered for offering a high range of beauty products. Excellent. Now, the business want to know that they're on Sutherland Sally. So watch this. If we refresh the page, beauty services appear. We click on beauty services. How good are the Contour Clinics in Miranda? All right, look at that. And there's their answer, there's their question. We grab this, we copy this, and we put it into our marketing tool. And our marketing tool does something very special. We're using AI to go to the website, analyze the website, and give us some output about the business. Written by the AI, but as a human would write it if a human was to go to the website. So if you, for example, were to go to this website, you would have to pour through all the information. And the other thing which is interesting about websites, they are so image heavy now. That's great when people are looking at them. But when the AI and the LLMs are looking at them, they're not interested. They just want the information. So we'll go back to here and see what's happening. The AI has gone to the website, and hey presto, we have now got the email address of the company, the contact phone numbers of the company, the phone number, their contact form, their address. A summary of what the business does, written by the first person, by the AI. An icebreaker. G'day guys, hope you're well. We were recommended to contact you as being a well-established business in the Shire. Your reputation for excellence in cosmetic treatments and the positive feedback from your clients is truly a standout. Okay, we've got that now. Check this out. We then create an email. This email then shows our website, shows their website, shows the message, shows the actual page where they're actually on, and the links. If we want to change any of the information, we can change the information, but basically we can then send them an email. That will send this business an email simply saying, hey, you're on Sutherland Sally. And then we go to the outbox and we can see the emails here that we've actually sent, and we can go here and we can actually look at the summary that we sent. If we go back to Sutherland Sally, we can see on the page there that it corrected the question. Beauty treatments, I did it wrong. The AI's corrected that. So we're using AI there to make sure that the formatting and everything is nice and neat. We have just created this fantastic email to just alert the people that they're on Sutherland Sally. Now, this is where it gets really interesting. Most people, back up here, that have done email marketing, you can send out a broad email, scrape email addresses, send a generic email, whatever you want to do. This is like a personalized, someone sits down, a human sits down and uses their brain to go, oh, okay, well, I'll use Google Maps, I'll click on this, but you're using the AI to do the heavy lifting. And what the AI can do for you is speed up the process. We're going back to productivity, 10xing the progress and getting a better outcome, a better product, right? Now, when you normally go and just send off an email to a customer, that's it, gone, finished, marketing done. No one answered, it bounced, it went to spam. The amount of people that you need to send an email to get one response is huge. By customizing and making it more personal, yes, more people are likely to read it. But let's assume still the marketing rate's very, very low. But what you're doing is you're gathering your data, your information to build up your site. So it doesn't matter whether this company are interested in your site or not. They're within the Shire, they're within the suburb that is the topic of your site. So what we do is we can actually go back down here, and every day that you have gone and marketed, you can grab your file. In this case, it's a JSON file, and it actually includes the information of that business. So it's got their name, their address, and not just some generic information. This has actually been taken by the AI and written so that it's not just a summary of their website, as in, we go here, go there. It's basically, hey, you know, you guys are renowned for your extensive range of treatments and exceptional patient care. This then goes into the OpenAI vector database. So you can see here, I uploaded one earlier. So when you've done your marketing for the day, you've got all this extra information about these businesses, and you can put it straight back into the business, and it knows the next person that comes along and asks a question, the information's there. So anyone who's done any form of email marketing knows that the rate of people replying is very, very low. But by doing it this way, you're actually building up your product and making your product better. Now, in this case, it doesn't matter whether people, you know, you're just telling them they're on the directory, right? They can take it one step further. They might want to advertise with you. They want to find out more about AI assistance, whatever. But basically, the way the workflow works, the site itself is backed up by a database. So all the data is written up to Airtable, right? So you've actually got a backup of everything you're doing. Then you've got the site, and then you've actually got the way to do it, and it becomes the marketing tool. So there is an example of how you use AI. You're using AI to help you create the code. You're using AI at many levels to take the email, clean the email up, publish the email. Take that, and then we use another tool where we actually say, go to this website. Tell me all about this company. I don't know anything about them. Tell me about them. I want to put them into my directory. Grab their email, grab their address, let's put that into the directory. That's great, fantastic, right? Then what we'll do is we'll send them an email and we'll just let them know that you're on the directory. So that creates an excitement about your product, right? So that form of very, very interesting marketing is going to be pretty cool. So as a follow-up to what I did last week, I had lots of people asking, how are these tools actually effective? How do they create jobs? How is someone? So I could just sit someone down and say, right, train them how to do this. There's other ways, obviously, like I've got a Bolt, you can upload CSV files, you can scrape them and put them in there and save yourself the work. But you're creating, because you're asking the question and you're getting the output, your page is increasing in value because it's a value product. You have now got beauty services, activities, all these information is there with map links and everything else. So that is the way forward. So start thinking about how you can use AI in your business. Feel free to contact me. I'm more than happy to talk to anyone. People know I love to talk. All my contact details are all around me. So yeah, please do that. And I hope you've enjoyed this video. That was just a quick one. I will do another one on GPT-5 and the agentic workflow. Also, Comet has been fantastic. The browser, I don't know whether, you know, that is going to be huge. And it wouldn't surprise me if OpenAI do end up bringing out a browser maybe at some stage. But yeah, it's pretty powerful stuff. So I'll leave it there for now. Thanks again for your time, and I'll catch you in the next one.